Alright, the last one is Enies lobby. Alright, so first we have Robin. Robin starts this off. She believes that she needs to sacrifice herself to save her friends. Luffy believes in living for your friends. That is actually part of the theme. And then Robin has a character arc where she goes from believing what she believes to believing what Luffy believes. That's an iconic I Wanna Live scene. And then Lucci believes the government is always right. Meanwhile, Luffy does not believe that. So now, we got our two things. Alright, the government, sadly the government isn't really explored. Alright, so what is the plot of the story? Enies lobby. Well, Robin leaves with the CP9 to protect the Straw Hats. The CP9, no, Luffy and the Straw Hats, they're the same thing, but it's mostly Luffy. So Luffy goes after her to save her. Why? Because he values the lives of his friends and he wants them to live for him, not to die for him. They have that meeting. And then she says, I want to live. And that's like the turning point. And then there's a whole bunch of fights where they fight for it. I mean, this part, like I said in the first video about super arcs, a lot of the fights are not related to the theme because they're just there because they have to be. The CP9, they're fighting because the bad guys are there, their enemies are there. The Straw Hats are fighting because their enemies are there. It's not like they're fighting because they have strong beliefs about the theme or anything. I mean, I guess the Straw Hats all believe about the living, but that theme is not present in the fights. Like, it's not even present in the Lucci fight. The live for well, sort of. All right, so finally we got the Luffy versus Lucci, and that's when he values the government. This is his value, and Luffy's value. He believes in freedom, and that leads to their fight. Well, that's kind of represented in their fight. It's not represented perfectly well, but then in the climax, what happens? Luffy gets beat up. Usopp starts shouting to him, and then he gets back up for his friends. He lives for his friends, and they all jump in the boat. And they escape. And then we can also tie back this boat. Going Merry is a friend. Now, this might be stretching, but Going Merry was on its deathbed, but it ended up living long enough to save them. So there's this whole living for your friends versus dying for your friends, and it's between Luffy and Robin. And that's at the crux, that's at the core of the story. That's what makes it so emotional and thematically well written. All the other fights, they don't really, as I said, they're extra. They're fun, but they don't really connect to the theme. They just flesh out the story and make it feel like this is actually a challenge. And that's Enies lobby. Once again, you don't really need to worry about 3-act structure. The whole train, I forgot, I think it was like a sea train. The sea train stuff, where Sanji's clearing all the enemies on the boat, that's extra. The stuff where they're going on they have to attack, like, I think it was like a wave of water or something. They had some complicated journey to get to their point. But all of that stuff, that's extra. It's not needed, but it fleshes out the story. It extends the story and makes it feel like an actual journey. But once you have this core, you cannot have this arc without this core. You can remove all the other stuff, but it probably would not be as good. But if you remove this, the story just does not exist. It does not work as well. It doesn't work, period. And that's why I think this is one of the best arcs, along with Baratie from One Piece.